All right, so our first installment of what is Ask Us Stuff about China. We've been here for 12 years. We're going to ask you to ask us about things about China, about why do I use my hands this way so much. Today's question is from...
𝗖𝗵cie_China asks, what's the worst mic...
Mike?
What's the worst mic you've ever known?
I've known many mics. The worst one is a mic who's a monkey.
Yeah, no, 𝗖𝗵cie_China really asks, what's the worst white monkey job you've ever had?
So let's define first. What is a white monkey job as far as... Well, what do you think a white monkey job is? And then we'll think what you think as the white monkey.
Do we pause for comments?
Yeah.
Go type your comment now.
Yeah, put it down.
No, so a white monkey job is a term I actually dislike, and we can get into why. But it means a job you get hired to do just because you're a foreign face to like make a business look like foreigners work at it.
Mm.
You could open a restaurant or a car dealership. You're just a face.
Mm-hmm. What do you think it means? This is getting into it. This is the get into it part.
Oh, this is the personal.
Yeah, you personally. Why don't you like it?
Well, okay, so it sounds a little whiny and complainy about the fact that you have white privilege. Mm. Like, people want to hire you just for your looks, but they don't want to listen to you. All right, white guys, welcome to the rest of the population's experience. It sounds... I don't know. If it offends you, don't take the money to do that job. If it doesn't offend you, take the money and do that job. It's I don't know.
That's just work, that's commerce, that's capitalism.
Yeah, all jobs are offensive.
Yeah. I haven't worked in years. I would never take a job. It's just rude. I'm way above that.
Yeah. No, it is like if you think that kind of work's insulting, and maybe it is.
And maybe it's not. Maybe you love it. Maybe you...
But like in other contexts, it's just called spokesmodeling, or...
It's true.
You know? It's not like it's a unique...
People have been making fun of boat models for decades, but like... But we think that they're great people and...
Do I get the boat modeling job?
There's no boat back there. There's a bike modeling. You can see behind you a little
Mike
bit.
Modeling?
Mike.
If
I'm not a Mike.
Mike.
So what have you come ever close to doing any white monkeying around?
Not really. I've kind of avoided it.
Do you think you've ever done anything that somebody with other viewpoints might say, "Gotcha, yeah, white monkey"?
I mean, we called it show ponying, which removes, because non-white foreigners are asked to do this kind of job too. Mm-hmm. But because of, the world's racist, sometimes the white people get paid more. Mm. This is a whole bag of nuts. But anyway,
do monkeys eat nuts?
I think monkeys will eat whatever's in your backpack.
Bag of bananas is what we're going for. Stay on theme.
Okay.
It's really hard for people to focus on what you're talking about if you don't. Monkeys eat bananas, and people take jobs as...
We got trotted out by our first school to come to a big meeting with all the parents and everything, but don't say anything. But we were actually teachers at that school, so it was more like they wanted to prove to the parents that we existed, because at the time there were schools saying they had foreign teachers that just did not have them.
And this continues to this day, 12 years later, even at a university, that you were just at one of these events.
Well, okay, English Corner is not a white monkey job. It's
this
just
is what
part
we're trying
of
to
my
find.
job.
This is what we're trying to get people to understand here.
I personally don't like English Corner just because I'm not really social, so any event that's like unstructured conversation makes me feel very uncomfortable, but not for any like racial reason. It just is like I don't like being on the spot that way. I can teach you English from my lesson plan. I have very good lessons, but unstructured conversation.
Do you think that the white part is like? I mean, is that just like part of the name that's thrown in there? Like, if it was, whatever, polka dot monkey or something that it was, like, are we using white as actually has to be the racist part? Like, could it be any other race? Could it be, or is it just a general term of you being a foreigner, taking a job
I guess
that
I don't
doesn't
know
really
what
do?
other people mean.
comments.
Yeah, because it
Please.
is like there is an animal called a white monkey, so that's the neat.
That would be really fun, actually.
That's the wordplay.
if
Yeah,
there-
have
if
you
there
ever
was
have you
hi-
ever worked with monkeys?
Or have you ever hired a monkey to open up your as a CEO, fake CEO of your your new coffee bean business?
Oh, bananas are up.
Oh wow, pork chops. So then, if that is race aside,
Okay.
you're taking jobs as a foreigner without having any knowledge. That's what I kind of like see it really. I mean, the white part you can't take out of totally, but let's just put that aside for a second.
Right.
And you are a foreigner taking a job that you have no experience in for the purpose of just putting on a face of an international.
I mean,
Like, have you ever taken a job like that?
I
Have you
haven't.
ever,
I
have
haven't.
you ever faked being a professional?
I have not, but no one's ever really offered that specific.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's interesting. Like, if they could provide a visa and an office for 8 hours a day, I could work on my novel. Like, I don't know that I'd have a problem with it. But if you,
Do you think
I don't know. It depends what your work ethic is and how self-directed you are. Like, if someone tells you to sit in an office all day for 8 hours and you have nothing to do and that makes you feel bad, then that's career advice. That's not the job for you.
So, do you think Elon Musk is a white monkey secretly? Hey, anyways. So you haven't ever taken a job where you felt uncomfortable in what the duties that you were going to have to take?
Yeah.
I mean, I've done the same jobs too, where we've done things for schools or for friends out of schools for their schools or their trade schools or whatever.
But
And that
our presence was also to
it was uncomfortable because it was annoying. Cause
yeah, and
it
everybody
turns,
was looking at us.
and everyone is super nice, but
Yeah.
but it turns into like I thought I would stop by for an hour and a half and judge a little contest on English or something like that.
Yeah.
And then like 12 hours later, they're like, and then we'll take you out to dinner. And you're like, God, I just got to go home.
Yeah, but again, like judging an English competition is something I'm qualified to do and is part of that work. We're not there to go.
Hey.
We do actually
Ni hao.
in those situations. I anyway have given feedback and scoring that I felt was fair. I feel like it's more of that's.
I mean, it certainly helps.
It's an annoying job.
It certainly helps that you were.
All jobs are annoying.
That you were a journalist and a writer back home by
Yeah.
profession. That is your trade before
Yeah.
you moved here as a teacher. So you are more
Yeah.
competent in that than almost anything else. Maybe you've got some other
Yeah.
secret jobs
I have
along
no
the way,
other
but,
skills.
but if it wasn't for this, it wouldn't be anything. So if we haven't been approached for anything of like any, I don't know, car ads or I can't think of
I was asked to model handbags, and I had a time conflict.
otherwise you would have taken it.
Yeah, I mean,
Were they good handbags?
I don't know.
Wow.
But that's being a model. That I don't know.
So you can take a job as a model.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't, because that actually really sounds boring.
Right. This is my point, is that we haven't really, I mean, we did kind of live in like a small city of Sichuan for the longest time where there wasn't a lot of, if it was something that, if we were trotted out anywhere, it was because some friends wanted some other friends to see them at dinner and say that they have some white friends. But that's
Yeah,
completely on
yeah.
a personal, nobody, well, we got free dinners, but like,
Right. And then we started to say no, like we had, because it would be complete strangers would be like, we'll take you to dinner sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we realized over time, like, oh, they don't want to make friends. They just, because we did meet people who did want to make friends and were actually friends. And then
Yeah.
there were people who just wanted to be like, I'm so cool, I have white people at my party.
Yeah.
And then so we could figure out the difference and then start saying no to that, because free dinner is not really enough.
and it did
I
help.
don't get out of bed for less than
Yeah.
2 free dinners.
It did help to inform us as to what kind of jobs would we even get near. So I guess my point is that we are not people that are actually even if we're on camera or we put ourselves out there in the world, we're not really.
You may not be able to tell, but we're discerning.
We're not really in a position. We don't put ourselves in a position where anyone is going to really ask us to do these things. And there are.
Well, like, unless you're living a much different life, no one's making you do this stuff.
That's the thing, is that you could. We've said no to plenty of things that weren't even close to white monkey jobs. They were like coffee house kind of English corner things that were just like, well, I just don't want to. I'm not going to get involved in that. Like, well, we'll pay you double. Like, it's not the money I would want. I'm not going to be. It's not like I'm against English corner. It's just that I got other things to do. So like, if it's a friend that it's asking, that's a different thing, because you kind of do it as a favor. I don't have a problem with that, although those do also tend to extend into be like, here's the rest of your evening. So I do stay clear of them. You take them for your school because they are part of
I mean, it's not a white monkey job, it's my job.
Right, it's just another.
If I have to dress up as Santa Claus, that's
right, if you were back home,
that's in my contract.
If you were back home and you were doing like a teacher's meeting or something with your students' parents or something, you would still you'd go at 7 o'clock
do the beach cleanup on the weekend or whatever.
You'd make some lemonade and some lemon squares and anything else made with lemon and bring them to the party. Yeah. And
I make good lemon squares.
Yeah. That's higher for if you want white monkey jobs.
That's not a white monkey job. That's a bakery.
I'm having a hard time with the actual definition, because I think everyone has different kinds of definitions.
I think a lot of people's definition is like, well, I don't get to do exactly what I want.
Right, or I didn't get paid enough to do what you want me to do.
But then that's your fault.
Yeah, you're just a bad business person.
Negotiate, baby.
That's the name of the game here. But then there are things, having done video stuff, that like people have asked us to like hawk out some, I don't even know what they were. There was like some makeup or something. Maybe it was the handbag thing that you were thinking of. Or people that have asked us to do like...
like influencer stuff.
Influencer stuff. Like that's a whole nother realm, which we're barely popular enough. But even at our low popular rate, still people have asked us to do it for different reasons, for companies, for the city, for
and not all Chinese. Like the makeup brushes was a Amazon seller.
See, it doesn't have to be China that's asking you to be a white monkey. Even your own home.
Everybody wants you to sell your credibility for their product.
That's today's life.
That's today's
grump. And that's why we can't get ahead in life.
Today's grump.
So yeah, like why don't we take the few of those jobs that we've taken to like go represent the city out in the countryside and promote some kind of...
We haven't taken.
Yeah, why haven't we taken those?
I don't know, it doesn't sound fun.
Do you feel monkeyish?
No, if it was more money or more fun, maybe we'd say yes.
What would it entail? Like they're not paid jobs, but it is the expense of like taking a bus 2 hours out into the countryside, and take our cameras, make a video. Maybe there would be some people to help us there. I think the main thing would be that there would be people buying us like lunch and dinner, sometimes accommodations if it's overnight. But we haven't taken it.
I mean, this is
primarily because it's
China influencer is kind of a different topic, but I guess the same idea of selling,
we're
using
talking about
your face to
you don't want to do something, and someone else is going to give you a present for doing it.
Yeah, and I think like having been a journalist, even though that's not what we're doing here, in case you were confused, that feels like...
Please subscribe.
That feels like selling out your credibility for someone else's agenda, even if it's to, like, just go visit this village. Mm-hmm.
We've visited plenty of villages by ourselves, with and without cameras, and with or without the cameras being on.
But especially if it's like, we'll have some people to talk to you. Like, you don't get to pre-select my interview candidates, and then I present it as my story. Feels really disingenuous, and I know that's what the modern internet is built on, but I don't think the modern internet is very good.
Take that, internet.
Today's grump.
How many grumps do you get in one day?
Oh, all of them.
All the top 5 grumps of the day. So if we've gone out to villages, and we're not going to interview anybody, because particularly if you're out in a village, like whatever the dialect is, even like back in Luzhou and Sichuan, when we were like just outside of our city, and there are lots of little villages where we would hang out on a regular basis.
Yeah.
The amount of the children would have to come in and,
Oh, yeah.
and actually interpret for the older people, adults, to talk about.
Yeah, so the
transfer.
older person would speak the local language to the child, and the child would speak Mandarin to me, and then I would speak English to Peter.
Yeah. So if we took the camera out and we went to some kind of dumpling hut and were to interview somebody there, your questions would be about as superficial as like, those are dumplings?
Yeah,
Thank you. They're very good.
It's whatever the 7-year-old could understand and convey.
Right. Because there isn't much more to say than that, anyways. So, what would be the
These are dumplings.
what would be the big difference if somebody with a bus or a nice car drove you out? They would be able to give you maybe a little bit more of what that villager has to say about, like, oh, this is my village, and like we could subtitle it here as and these dumplings are very good, thank you, they're very delicious. And
These dumplings brought me out of poverty, thank you, dumplings.
Right. So if we could do that much work already by ourselves, why would we do it for somebody else?
Well, we're mostly goofs on this channel. We're trying to make you laugh.
It's a comedy channel.
It's a comedy channel.
Chongqing comedy. Come see the show, Emily.
Come see the show. There's a show on Friday at Island if you're in the city.
Almost every weekend.
Yeah. Well, this weekend it's at Island.
You don't know when somebody's watching this. It could be 10 years from now. This is the
chances are 1 out of 4 it will be at Island.
That's another question actually somebody's going to ask. So don't go burning our questions.
Okay.
We want to do this every week. So when you are watching us and thinking, boy, I really wonder what they think about China after being here for 12 and a half years, put it in the comments so that we can every week have a bevy, a cornucopia of questions of questions to just please subscribe.
Wait, I was saying something.
Yes, no.
We are a comedy channel, but I am a storyteller. Let's get pretentious. Grump to pretentious.
Very little difference.
I don't want to tell someone else's story. So when their job's based on my small amount of popularity to advance your narrative, I'm not interested. If you want me to interview you, well, that's a whole different thing. But I don't want to be a mouthpiece for someone else's story.
We interview all the comedians in the group that you're in the Chongqing comedy group, and
I'll tell other people's
and
stories,
other comedians from other cities.
I'm not going to advance
because you're part of a community that are the comedians, and that's the story that you are involved in.
Yeah.
So as we make documentary footage and interviews with our friends and co-workers that are involved in the comedy world, or go to see the comedy world, or have comedy clubs, that's our interest, and you and I are going to talk to people. Are we all right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just looking at our audience.
Oh, hi. that we are proudly making lots of videos about those people, because that's part of the story.
Yeah.
For us to go ask somebody, how's your dumplings, is like, that doesn't actually. If we do that by ourselves, that's fine. If we're doing it for the city, for a company, if we're actually doing it for the person who's making the dumplings, I'll make a commercial for a little ma and pa, little
inquire
restaurant.
About
actually,
our rates. We have some.
They're probably pretty low,
but higher than they used to be.
So, and to sum up, then, White Monkeys, of like, it's not necessarily, we're not completely anti-capitalist in that we do work for money. I got no problem with getting paid for stuff.
I like eating food and buying phones.
But doing the right work that we feel comfortable with, and you could feel comfortably different levels of comfort as to what it is. What would be a bad White Monkey job where somebody would like come to you? Would it be like a car dealership of like, hey, stand in front of this, say you invented brakes to this Hyundai, like would.
Oh, well, that gets it. Because opening a car, like, I would say I would consider you bad for taking this job if it was doing actual harm. Perpetuating actual harm. If you were brought on to be like, no, everything's okay here in a situation where it clearly was not, then I would judge you for that. But if it is just open the car dealership, I don't care.
All right, well, so then
everybody knows you didn't invent that car.
Then hot button topics of you got invited to a vacation village somewhere out of Chongqing. There's about a million of them that are beautiful, and one day we'll go visit on our own money, probably. But and then when you get there, they want you to talk about how the village has been the local vicinity, province, whatever community, governmental situation has propped up the village by putting in like Coke machines or something. That,
Right.
Like, would that be, is that on a level of like...
I wouldn't do that, and not because it's, so wrong. But like for me, I wouldn't feel comfortable with what's my due diligence to, I can't know what the real story is because I just don't have the connections or skills. And they don't want me to dig in. They don't want me to do my own research.
Yeah.
So I don't like being a mouthpiece in that way. I don't know. I guess because I want to say like everybody knows the score that it's all fucking propaganda. Can I say?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only in the first 8 minutes that you swear.
Okay.
After that, you can swear as much as you want.
Since I've been doing comedy on stage, I do.
You getting a potty mouth?
I swear a lot more.
You getting a dirty potty mouth?
Dirty potty mouth. But not everybody knows it's propaganda, so I don't know. I wouldn't do it just because it's cheesy.
That's. I feel that for me, that's what
And
it
it
is.
also,
I don't feel like if I was to be like, hey, this Nestea coffee or whatever it is like. I don't.
Vlogging playing at journalism, like I'm sorry, but you're not journalists.
You gotta go to school.
There's value in memoir and there's value in personal experience stories, but it's not doing the same work of journalism.
I think if you're a line cook and you call yourself a chef in front of a chef, you'll get slapped.
Yeah.
In journalism, you could go to jail or something probably. It's not as bad as law or medical, but like.
I mean, well, you can't because the internet is full of people claiming to be experts and well-informed on stuff that they're regurgitating some party line. And I'm not even saying, like, this is a Chinese problem. This is a global problem. Yeah. Is that it's very easy to manufacture propaganda, and people do it without even realizing sometimes, I think.
It used to be a lot tighter that if you were...
Grump!
If you were just kind of, like, slurring out some ideas about what you think, a journalist could be taken out of the business just by like, we don't want to work with that guy anymore.
But the most popular source of information in the Western world is a guy who just gets high and invites like meatheads on his show to say meathead things.
Rest in peace, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's who I mean.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Don't take white monkey jobs. Don't take white monkey jobs. Don't be Joe Rogan.
Hey, take the money where you can get it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
In this day and age, what you got to do is you got to get out there and get some for your own.
Make money.
Those are pretty loud birds in the background. I don't know if you can hear them. There's so many birds in China. It's ridiculous. And all of them take jobs.
All of them take the jobs they can get.
Yeah, jobs.
These birds are hustlers.
Hustler birds. Subscribe and in the comments ask us the questions the burning questions that you need to know. Obviously, we've got intense answers with intense opinions. We're not afraid of hot button topics. We'll tell you that.
I am.
But today, you showed people that you were able to go there as
open your eyes, people.
You went there.
I did, I guess.
You did go there. And next week we'll go somewhere else because we've got about like 5 or 6 other questions people have asked. So ask more. We want so many questions. We want a list of questions that's like.
You can't even see where is his hand. Where's his hand going?
Ow!